my actual eyesight. Is there the high drive? Deep center! Go! 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 We're out of here! We're out of here! Say ya, playa!
Just like they drew it up in Hollywood, Caladros, the 3-2, swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! And this is it for good! The Audubon Green Wave are back in the Final Four! A gold pile on their side!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DW Broadcasting's coverage of men's varsity.
From our entire crew, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, folks.
Spectators can help promote good sportsmanship by observing the rules of...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. As we had the wrong graphic up, and I'll fix that in a moment. It's the Egg Harbor Eagles and the Deptford Spartans here on DWB, and Deptford still looking for their first win in this young campaign. We're about halfway through, and, you know, right now I think the big talking point for Deptford is the fact that their first 2 weeks of the season you can somewhat write off for being somewhat of an early bout in their campaign, and in their last 2 losses were to now, incredible teams that have made leaps and bounds after, either not existing in the case of ACIT, who Deptford lost to in week 3, or Bridgeton, who didn't win before 2020, or excuse me, only had their last win in 2021 after back-to-back winless seasons, and then leading off the season with an incredible undefeated record. I have been blown away by how Bridgeton has conducted themselves this year. We'll have to come out to a game at some point because they are very impressed, or they are very impressive, I should say, with their performance this year. Egg Harbor with Rob Davis, 2-2 in the campaign, coming off of back-to-back losses to a fellow foe in Bridgeton and Cherry Hill East, 35-6 last week. Now they started off the season with 2 wins at West Windsor, Plainsboro South. That was a Battle at the Beach matchup, and St. Joe's Hamilton, which is a relatively small Catholic school. And what we should note is that Davis, in his first year as an Eagles head coach, he went 1-9, and the only team that he beat was Bridgeton, 50-23, which, like we said, went winless in the past 2 seasons. But they had a lot of losses, even in their crossover game to West Deptford. And I think it's important to note that this is what happens when you have the WJFL realignment in your divisions and your classifications, whatever you want to call it. I like to say sometimes the games in year 1 of a division realignment are sometimes better than the ones in year 2, just because these guys are a little bit unproven, and these guys, at least on the record back to 2010, haven't played each other before. So this is a bit of untested waters, and for a guy like Rob Davis, who is a spectacular head coach and setting his footing here in Egg Harbor, and of course for Coach Landis, Pat Landis over here in Deptford, this is a beautiful complex, and the Spartans are going to try to make it another beautiful win for the Spartans. I'm here with David Cohen on the production tonight. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll be right back. Deptford is celebrating their senior day tonight at halftime. We will try to air as much of that as possible, but until then, coin flip just happened at the 50, and Deptford is getting ready to introduce themselves to the world at home. We'll be right back.
One toss and the third to the second half.
And the Spartans are introduced to their fight song, like we said. Deptford, led by head coach Pat Landis, 0-4 on the campaign, about halfway home here in 2024, with losses on this 2024 season to Florence, Pennsgrove, ACIT, and Bridgeton. But we will return to that note in a moment with the national anthem, which we will air.
To bring the presentation of the colors. The color guard is commanded by Cadet Slim P. Philippus and consists of cadets Mark Dutizio, Zach Broey, and Matthew Williams. The Navy Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps is being supervised this evening by Cadet Jin Nam and led by Master at Arms Petty Officer First Class Berryhill.
All right, a nice performance by the Deptford High School band. We'll be hearing them throughout the night. Again, welcome to coverage here from Deptford High and their two-name stadium here. Right off of Route 55 and exit 56. Going to be a fun matchup here between the 2-2 Egg Harbor Township Eagles and the 0-4 Deptford Spartans. But I think Deptford, still trying to find their footing. And this year one of this new divisional realignment for the WJFL might be a new time to look at getting your feet set and making sure that, everything ends up working out in the end. And I think that maybe if 2024 isn't a winning season for the Spartans, 2025 certainly has the potential to be with their young crew on the roster. For the remainder of the season, Deptford visits Glassboro next week, then Cumberland, Cherry Hill East, and Triton. This is their second to last home event of the season. Deptford won the toss and opted to defer to the second half. So it looks like this is going to be sent away by, I can't tell who that number is, but we are going to be underway. Number 1 on the kick for the Spartans, and we're underway from Gloucester County. Here comes a return, gets hit hard at the 40. And the return by EHT's number 4, that being Joseph Lacrosse, the senior, gives the Eagles some decent field position to start this drive. That was kicked off by number 1, Azir Pagan, the junior. And Rob Davis, as we said, coming off of back-to-back losses, this is kind of like a clean slate for both teams, despite what the standings tell you in the Memorial Division for both of these clubs. Here comes a handoff to the left side. Gets about 6 yards on that after the handoff by quarterback number 16, Xavier Kachi, the sophomore, who has definitely made a name for himself this year so far. 41 for 69 in passing. He is 59% on his pass completions, 560 yards and 4 TDs. And the thing about his game is that he's thrown 1 passing TD in all 4 of his games as a starter. That's going to be a first down for the Eagles, and that brings them across the 50 over to the 45-yard line, and the Eagles in just 2 snaps get themselves a new set of downs. But he had 1 touchdown apiece And a very quick no-huddle offense. Egg Harbor Township wasting no time on the board here in the first. And another handoff this time looks like number 21.
Noah Dawkins. Tackle number 56, Mike Smith. Makes it second down.
Another handoff to 21. Gets another handful of yards. And gets hit at the 35. First down mark was at the 36, so that will be another first down for the Eagles.
56, Mike Smith. The first down Eagles.
On NJ.com, we do not have a number 21 on our roster, but he has already been a crucial part to this ball game so far. And hold on here. Something wrong with a Deptford helmet? Whatever it is, they're pulling the player off to the sideline, and they'll fix issues from there. Kachi again with a man to his right. Pump fakes, finds some room, and the sophomore quarterback is able to prance and dance through the defense, getting about 8 or 9 yards. And Egg Harbor is lighting up the Spartans right now, and kind of a concerning start for Deptford. But if they can reciprocate the same energy on offense, then we're going to have a high-scoring gauntlet tonight. But that is if Deptford can reciprocate that in their ball game so far. Here comes the handoff to 21 again.
You want to play ball fair number 21, Noah Dawkins.
Oh, it is Noah Dawkins, it sounds like.
Makes it second down.
Yeah, we apologize. Dawkins was not on our roster. But it is second and mid-range for the Eagles, as we have just burned under 3 minutes in this first quarter. And QB in the empty backfield. Keeps it himself up the middle, finds a host of black and gold. And Cozy gets a couple of more yards, but Chain Gang says that it is short, and it is 3rd and 1. They're inside the red zone. They are at the 16. So Kochi looking to keep up the momentum for the Eagles. Here comes a handoff again to Dawkins. He finds some more room, but doesn't get too far. It is enough again for an Eagles first down.
21, Noah Dawkins.
I mean, like we said, if this is an opening score drive for these Eagles,
First line goal.
it would be an incredibly efficient drive at that, and might set the pace for what we see later on tonight. 1st and 10 for Kochi and crew. Here comes a handoff to Dawkins. Finds some space and finds the end zone. Eagles score on the 12-yard rush up the middle. He broke some tacklers, and just 3 minutes and 40 seconds into this Memorial Division contest, the Eagles, with a diamond drive, makes it 6-0 in favor of EHT. They'll go for the kick. This is going to be sent away by number 81, Justin Donahue, the sophomore. It'll be held by number 15, Andrew Olek. That kick is up, and it is wide and short. So just a little bit off to the left there, and EHT, with a very efficient drive, gets them on the board first. You're watching coverage here on DWB. We'll take a brief break as Deptford kicks off their first offensive drive of the night right after this. Egg Harbor with an efficient drive to start their 2024 campaign on DWB. Like we said, they're 2-2, coming off of back-to-back losses. Might be a chance for a statement win tonight. We were worried about some light rain coming in, and we certainly had some drops on the way down, but not a whole lot, honestly. It's dried up since we got here. The metal bleachers are holding a little bit of water, but nothing too much. Donahue's going to kick this one away for the Eagles. He checks on his men, and he will go. Sends this one on a squib. This is going to drop. Deptford bobbled it, but hung on. Now they've got some room. They've got even more room, and they get leveled out at the sideline across the 50. And Deptford with a very good kick return to start their offensive campaign tonight. Yeah, I thought I saw that right. The kicker just pulled a Pat McAfee. He made that tackle. The sophomore kicker. I mean, look, this is a very young Egg Harbor team. Their one win last year was a 27-point win. Oh, well, we're going to be hearing that all night. But, you know, all right, so they weren't as far across as I thought. They're going to be at their own 45, but still, I'd say I'm impressed with that return there. I think just maybe a squib kick gone wrong, or maybe it was a muffed kick. EHT making a quick substitution on defense, bringing in number 57, Anthony Ona. Right in front of us here in Deptford. Their first snap of the night is fumbled. And EHT, I think, just got the ball back.
Yeah.
And it's EHT ball. Or on yes. Wow. First snap of the night for Deptford is fumbled. The quarterback. That was number 13, Majir Rebinson, who has not thrown for a passing yard this year, fumbled the snap, and it ends up being a turnover on their first play of the night. Kochi rolling out to the left. He does not get past the line of scrimmage. He rolled way out to the back and to the left and ends up getting taken down for a loss of a half yard, maybe one. And it's 2nd and 11. Kochi again passes this one to the left. It's caught on the quick screen pass. Completed the number 13. And Jordan Sanchez, the senior wideout, on the catch there, makes it 3rd and 6. I mean, Deptford's got to stop the momentum here. They just gave all the momentum that they had in their little, pot of gold to Egg Harbor on that fumble. First play of their offensive drive, of their first offensive drive, and they fumble it away. Egg Harbor will burn a timeout, their first of the night. And we will take a quick break here on DWB. It is 6-0 Egg Harbor. They are at 3rd and welcome back to the home of the Spartans. They trail 6-0 here with 6:59 left in the first quarter. Plenty of time to play. Egg Harbor has they've certainly put their foot in the door, that's for sure. 3rd and 6. And a very efficient offense so far right now, seeing its first signs of slowing. As a handoff, Deptford trying to figure it out. They swallowed up at the line of scrimmage, and it will be 4th down. We'll see if the offense stays on the field or if Coachy goes out. And Coachy does go out to the sideline. It'll be spotted at the 37. And they will punt. Not exactly as big of a crowd as I expected for Friday Night Lights. I mean, there's certainly some empty bleacher seats here, even with some rain on the way. Coming back out onto the field late is Maximus Coachy. It is punted. This is going to roll and roll, but it was whistled dead before he had a chance to touch it. I was concerned there for a second because it looked like he was about to put his hands on it. I'm like, no, don't do that. And they ended up whistling it dead for a touchback. You know, I think about it. You don't see a whole lot. Oh boy, you don't see a whole lot of touchbacks in Jersey football just because. I mean, we at least haven't seen too many this year just because we've seen some really good punts that have this backspin. But Deptford's offense taking over after the punt. Egg Harbor gives themselves up for the first time tonight on their second drive. That is a high snap. It's going to roll into the end zone. There's a scramble in the end zone. Is it a touchdown or a safety? Are you kidding me?
He snapped, stumbled, and up by the Eagles in the end zone.
It is an Eagles touchdown. Oh my. I don't think I have ever seen that in covering Jersey football before. In addition to fumbling their two offensive snaps, I mean, they haven't completed a full play, whether it's for a loss or a gain. I mean, I'm very surprised. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Just Deptford is not off to the start that they want tonight. See, they are going to this is a bit odd. They're going to go directly to the running back who will try to punch it in himself. EHT says it's good, and they will say no. So EHT with 2 touchdowns, including one on that insane fumble recovery in the end zone. It is 12-0 as both PAT attempts have failed. We'll be right back.
Score.
Back here from Deptford and their wonderful facility here, the concrete grandstands that bring up these, that bring us up to the press box here, high and above. And Donahue will send this one away. Deptford will get another chance, another squib. We saw this with Clayton and Haddon Township a couple weeks ago. Did Egg Harbor just recover another kick? Oh my goodness, did they do it again? Oh my goodness. They have recovered a squib kick, and every single component has gone right for Egg Harbor. And we still have 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this before. This is just incredibly bad luck for the Spartans. 2 offensive snaps, 2 fumbles, and then on your third attempt, you don't even get a snap. And Coachy will be back out there again after punting on their first try. It is intercepted, so Deptford will get another chance.
16 leading the coaching.
How about that?
By number one,
We do have a flag. We do have a flag at the 40, or at the 45, rather.
Here's the flag down.
I was going to say that was. It was picked by number 1 for the Spartans, that being, excuse us just a second, Azir Pagan. It's going to be a hold on Egg Harbor. Penalties declined, and it'll be a turnover.
Against the Eagles, that probably was the block.
So, for those counting at home, in 6 minutes and 16 seconds, in 6 minutes and 16 seconds, we have had 4 turnovers. In 6 minutes and 16 seconds. I just want that number to sit in people's heads for a couple of seconds there, because that is, I don't think I have ever seen anything like that before. I'd imagine put the QB under center. But you can still fumble the snap if the QB is under center. Here comes the handoff to the right side. Gets tripped up and taken down at the 25. Deptford took over at the 20, it looked like. Maybe 21-yard line. Carry by Hernandez, the senior, who has 89 rushing yards this year. Deptford's leading rusher this year is Majir Robinson, who has 65 rush attempts and 273 yards, and a handful of touchdowns for the Spartans this year. Here comes the handoff up the middle. Gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. That'll be 3rd down for Deptford. As we were talking about, that leading rusher, Robinson.
Down.
Third and 4. They drop back and now find some space. He got hit and gets sent to the ground. This is going to be short of a first. Now, last night with Holy Cross Riverside, we had 6 turnovers in general, and we had 4 turnovers in the first half. Egg Harbor switching up basically their entire personnel, and it does look like Deptford will punt. So, yes, they will bring out the special teams unit. Number's a little hard to read. Snap is good, but it ends up being actually punted really well. Oh, it's fumbled. Still has trouble picking it up, and he is taken out of bounds at the 45 after another couple of hard collisions. Returned by EHT's number 10, Tommy Thompson. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at Harper Driving School. Over 95% of students who pass their New Jersey State driving test with Harper pass on their first attempt. If you like those odds, you can book an appointment today at Suite E of the Total Turf Complex in Pittman, right off of Lambs Road. 1st and 10, as for the 4th time tonight, Egg Harbor Township will send their black and white and the offense led by Coachy onto the field. This one is rolled out to the left for Noah Dawkins. Gets snuffed out maybe a yard short of the line of scrimmage at the 45, and it's 2nd down. And also, we should note that if you're a small business owner interested in advertising with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, we offer on-site commercial filming and advertising for as low as $250 for 6 months. It's a great offer, and that's why a whole lot of South Jersey businesses have hopped onto that plan. We're always looking for more. All expenses go towards college funds, equipment expenses, and travel costs for going to games like these. 2nd and 11 after the 1-yard loss. Coachy with a throw over the middle. Had a wobbly spiral, and it's broken up for number 13, Jordan Sanchez, and broken up by David Pearson.
Number 4, David Pearson in coverage. Makes it third down.
David Pearson, the defensive back on defensive coverage. I assume no relation to the former Wood Brothers driver who won 95 races for the 21 back in the 60s. But who cares? This is Jersey. Nobody cares about NASCAR in Jersey. 3rd and 11 after the incompletion, broken up by the secondary for the Spartans. Takes a perfect snap. It is caught. Should be short of a first. First down marker is at the 34. They might have to spot this one because this is pretty close. Not as close as I thought. It's on the 36. Bell on the tackle there, and it is 4th and 2. They'll keep Coachy and the offense out on the field. And honestly, you should at this point, You're already up by 12. You've got a little bit of an advantage. But this is I was just not expecting to see 4 offensive drives by Egg Harbor in the first quarter. Like this is the NFL or something. This is going to be a first down. Not a whole lot of coverage there as Dawkins puts himself in a spin cycle, not once but twice, and then gets himself into the red zone inside the 20-yard line, and that'll be a Eagles first down. And Deptford is starting to hold their own a little bit. They're starting to develop these defensive schemings that, at least hold a little bit more weight because my concern was when we saw that first offensive drive where they kind of waltzed into the end zone, Coachy and crew the first time, I was thinking, is this going to be a trend the whole night? Deptford has seemed to stop that notion a little bit, but not entirely. Coachy almost hit late, and they will get inside the 5 as the pass is caught to Max Coachy, the sophomore tight end, and now they're going to line up for a goal line stand at the 3, or at least a near goal line stand, as Egg Harbor will look to go up by 3 scores. Handoff to Dawkins, and he finds his way through again. Touchdown Eagles, and it is 18-0. He has scored twice for this crew tonight, and he has been incredibly efficient and exceptional in his talents as he'll head off to the EHT sideline. We'll see. What's interesting? This is the 3rd PAT, and they've done 3 different formations for these. They're going to go with the muddle huddle here. That's at least how it was taught to us in Woodbury, this being the muddle huddle. Wait a second. No, they're going to snap it from the right hash, and it's incomplete. And Coachy attempted a 10. Well, they are attempting PATs like a Grateful Dead show, different every time, and they have not succeeded on either of them tonight. It is 18-0, Egg Harbor, with 1:22 left in the first. For the 4th time in the first quarter, Justin Donahue and the Egg Harbor friends will go over and send this one from the 35. Donahue and crew with another squib kick. This is 3 in a row. This time, Deptford calls themselves out of it.
Well, 81, Justin Donahue.
It's taken in at the 38.
Field of 09, Keaton Rowe.
I think I can. I think I can add that to my list of things I've never seen before. A fair catch on a kickoff. You see fair catches on punts all the time, but I don't think I've ever seen a fair catch on a kickoff taken into the 38. And that's the thing about Deptford is that they've had good starting position on most of their offensive drives. The one that they didn't was when, Pagan picked it off and they started inside their own 20. All the others for kickoff returns, Donahue has squibbed them. Robinson again on the carry, gets a gain of 5, and he's taken down at the 45. Actually, might have been a little bit more than that. We'll see where they put it on forward progress. And Robinson gets seven-ish yards. And it'll be 2nd and 3 from the 45. 60 seconds to go in the first. Here from Deptford. I mean, if they can continue with a nice rushing offense like we saw with Riverside last night, but mixing it up a little bit, that can always be a recipe for success. They break through the D-line, and for the first time tonight, this might be a Deptford offensive first down. And it will be a Spartans first down. For the first time tonight, they have picked up an offensive first down. Riling up the crowd a little bit. Deptford is celebrating their senior night at halftime. To the left side. Breaks through a couple of tacklers and gets himself some more yardage, but that will be all she wrote in the first. After 12 minutes, we've got all Egg Harbor so far, and the yoke's on them because it's 18-0 after 1. We'll be right back here from Deptford. Back here in the second quarter from Deptford, this broadcast is brought to you by Garden State Pet Center. Keep your pet happy and healthy today with the most organic food products available in South Jersey. Along with that, toys, cages, accessories, and much, much more. Visit 7 days a week at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon. 1st and 10 for the Spartans as we switch sides here for a second quarter mirror. High snap. Robinson pitches it to the right. He's got a little bit of room. They need a block. They got a block. They're inside the red zone, but they're going to say, oh, and a late hit out of bounds. Deptford wants a call, and they don't get it. Hernandez on the carry, and he is up in arms after Egg Harbor. I don't know if they didn't hear the whistle because it was pretty close. I think he maybe only had a foot out of bounds. But either way, a first down for the Spartans, but maybe a little controversial there. After the tackle by number 7, Kamel Gibson. They're going to say that he stepped out at the 23. But it still will be first down for the Spartans either way. By the way, some out-of-town scoreboard updates. At the end of the first quarter, Winslow leads Millville 7-0. Burlington Township leads Delran with 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter, 14-0. And we'll have some more updates after this play. Robinson in the shotgun, takes it himself, ran into his own man, and now cuts to the right, finds some space, and he will get taken out again. And it's a touchdown, Spartans. So maybe this is the high-scoring gauntlet we were promised as the QB slash do-it-all, Rebinson, takes it himself, and Deptford, after a very confusing first couple set of drives, they now punch into the end zone, and the Spartans do not need 300 men to find the end zone. They only need 11, and it's 18-6. Looks like they'll go for 2, it looks like. Does not look like they're going to take a PAT. They'll go for 2. I was going to say, I did not see a kicker rostered on Deptford. We ran into that issue last night where the Riverside team physically could not kick extra points because they didn't have somebody for that job. And honestly, if you're down 18-0, make it 18-8 right here. We've got a flag and a tackle by a host of Eagles. Definitely well behind the line of a host of Eagles behind the line of scrimmage for Rebinson. Let's see what the Whitecap has to say about it. Actually, just having a quick discussion with the EHT assistant there in the pants and white hoodie. So looks like that's settled. And we are going to have an offensive hold, penalties decline.
So it's holding against the Spartans. That penalty was the clock. The Big Sox 4. The Eagles 18. The Spartans 6.
So they will say that that will not be reattempted, and the score will stand at 18-6. So 4 PATs, and none have been successful. I'll do that from now on. So Deptford will kick this one off. Looks like number 2, which is Josiah Bynum, who also looks like he's in a Guardian cap, which I haven't seen too much of this year in South Jersey, as this one is high and away to the left side. Picked up at the 21 by Dawkins, who has been a unstoppable force tonight, and a host of everybody is on top of that at the 35, and that's where EHT will take over. I mean, props to Bynum for wearing the Guardian cap. I don't see too many other players on either side. I actually think Bynum is the only player wearing Deptford black and gold that is wearing the Guardian cap, but I believe last year or this year was when they got approved for use in Jersey football. I honestly, don't quote me on that. I don't know when, but I know it was recent. Coachy again in the shotgun from the other side now as Dawkins gets some room, does not have the proper blockers, and gets maybe a yard or 2, second down. But my way of thinking is, even if the Guardian cap does look a little off, if it protects the players and if it's promoting player safety, I am all for it. And yeah, I think just scanning the sidelines real quick, Bynum is the only player on either Deptford or EHT to have a Guardian helmet. So good for him for sticking out and wearing that. He's allowed to do it, so there's nothing wrong with that. Third down after a spin cycle goes on full blast, and it'll be third down. The Bynum machine, number 2, 7 for 25 passing this year, 113 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Has thrown 5 interceptions so far this year, but Deptford seems like a kind of do-it-all offense where your quarterback is your running back and your wide receiver can be your quarterback. You kind of put everybody into a hat, and the positions are made that way. This is a very versatile team. We've got some space for Egg Harbor, and flying across the 40 and spiking the ball after a first down is number 17.
Here.
That was actually, I'm sorry, number 13, Sanchez.
First down, Eagles.
First and 10 for Egg Harbor. Coach in the shotgun again, got a man behind him. One man to his left, 2 receivers to his right. Throws it to the flat. He trips up and gets taken down inside the 30 and inside the 25 for that matter. As we were saying earlier, at the end of the first quarter, Winslow leads Millville 7-0. Burlington Township leads Delran 14-0 with 6 minutes left in the first quarter. And Winslow just extended their lead to 14-0 on a 22-yard touchdown by Duckett. And yeah, that just came in 2 minutes ago from Mark Tribble. Roman Duckett, 22 yards, 14-0 Winslow. After one, Delsey leads Timber Creek 6-0. With 10 minutes left in the first half, Pennsauken leads Eastern 13-0. Rancocas Valley leads 7-0 in the first quarter over Camden. And on 2nd and 10 here, Coachy crosses to the right. He'll get lost in the abyss there on the defensive line, and it'll be 3rd down. I think he got a couple of yards on that one, and he will cross into the red zone. And over off of exit 48 on, or actually not even exit 48, but even further south in South Jersey, St. Augustine and Mainland knotted up at 0 apiece after one. Third and mid-range for Coachy and crew. Again, got 2 receivers to his right, takes it himself. He finds some space. That, I think, is enough for a first down, looking at the angle. I mean, just taking those QB keepers without a second thought of even rolling the ball out. We saw that a lot last night from Dean Potts and the Riverside QB crew where, Dean Potts for Riverside, he had 77 passing yards going into last night's game and exited with over double. He passed for 130 yards in Riverside's 19-14 loss to Holy Cross. Coachy in some trouble, incomplete, broken up by Deptford's number 7. So intended for Tommy Thompson and broken up by Damon Albertson. Albertson coverage.
Brings up 70 down.
And as we mentioned that, Burlington Township and Delran got a little bit closer. Delran gets a goal line stand, and at the first snap of the second quarter, it is 14-7. Coachy, incomplete, a high-flying receiver in his wake. And it is incomplete. Intended for Jake Lund, the sophomore. Oh, no, you're good. Yes or no? If you can turn on your side, that's great. Key bars off? No? Okay. Actually, you know what? We're not shooting through a window, so go ahead. You can do it if you want. We were just mentioning last night, Holy Cross in Riverside from the Rock was an issue of us shooting through a window, and we had to handhold the camera for the second half, but we'll shut up about that. It is dumped off to the right side. I think it found Dawkins. We do have a flag. But yeah, like we were mentioning last night, we were at Burlington County for Holy Cross and Riverside, and the windows were locked. We couldn't lower them, and the glare got so bad at the second half after the sunset, and our tripod would not go low enough that I literally just had to keep a steady hand while I'm commentating and manage that for 24 minutes. That was not our best airing last night, but it was a very good game, 19-14 in favor of Holy Cross to keep on the undefeated path to 5-0. An eligible man downfield. Haven't seen much of that this year, and that will knock him back. We see that more with the Eagles in one game than we've seen in 14 this year. So that'll knock the Eagles back. The only 2 South Jersey scores of note from last night As we said, Holy Cross beat Riverside 19-14, and Vineland crushed Clearview 54-0. 18-6 in favor of the Eagles, 7:38 to play in the half. Donahue is on the field, so they're going to go for a field goal. We have not seen a field goal at all in our 14 games this year. And it is good. And they make up for the 3 missed PATs in the blink of an eye. Justin Donahue hits it. And what I like to say in South Jersey football, no field goal is a chip shot. It's 21-6 as they extend their lead and make up for those missed point afters in one play. We'll be right back as Egg Harbor puts 3 on the board. Justin Donahue stays on the field. He'll send this away for the kickoff.
Yeah.
This one is up. And another squib kick by Donahue will get across the 50. He's got some blockers, and he spirals his way to the 44. And again, just getting some more scores in here in the inter-school district rivalry of the of the Lenape Valley School District. Shawnee leads Lenape 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. And Kevin Minnick, our good friend, is over at Glassboro Woodbury. Amari Saab with 2 touchdowns, 14-0 in favor of the Bulldogs at Glassboro. Deptford takes it over, looking to get back on the board after their early second quarter touchdown. Out to the right, we're going to go with a trick. Oh! And instead of a treat, it's a trick that ends up being sour, and it's second down. It is nearly Halloween season, but we've seen a couple of those before in prior seasons. We had one that was successful for a touchdown, which was done by Cherry Hill West in September of last year. In fact, it was a year ago today. Second and 10 after an unorthodox completion, or incompletion, I should say. Over the middle. Gets hit maybe a yard or 2 ahead of the line of scrimmage. Also, just a quick note, Egg Harbor Township is a Group 5 school. They have over 1,500 students in their grades 9 through 12. Look how many men they have on the sideline. They've got at least 40 or 50 guys that are dressed but not on the field. And look who's on the defensive line. Quarterback Xavier Kochi. Even in a Group 5 environment, Kochi, the sophomore quarterback, is playing both sides of the ball. And Deptford calls their first timeout of the evening. So Deptford looking to claw back, and after a bit of unusual shenanigans on that pass and another rush, it is 3rd and 8. We'll be right back after this break. Deptford comes back from a timeout. They've got 2 remaining. There you go right there. They have 2 timeouts remaining. 3rd and 8. Bynum with a handoff to Rebinson, and that's going to get swallowed up. That'll be short.
I hear Robinson.
And we were able to verify that this was not the first, we should say this was not the first attempted field goal, but across 14 games of South Jersey football this year that we have covered, this was the first completed field goal from Justin Donahue. So props to him. A team is always going to get a leg up when you have a dedicated kicker. They are staying, looks like the offense is staying on the field here. Whistles have blown. I think Egg Harbor called a timeout? Yes. EHT burns another timeout. The Eagles will fly over to the sideline for timeout number 2 in the first half. And here from the home of the Spartans, it is 21-6 in favor of EHT. Back from Deptford, Egg Harbor burns another timeout. And it is 21-6. EHT, if you have missed the first half of this game so far, you need to rewind the tape at halftime and watch some highlights from this first half because it has been wild. That pass was, I think, tipped and it's incomplete. Intended. Gone. So the 4th down going for it attempt does not go. Glassboro leads Woodbury 22-0. Woodstown leads Pennsgrove 7-0, and Timber Creek has taken the lead over Delsey 7-6. And Holy Spirit takes care or is in front of Cedar Creek 7-0.
Yes.
5:50 left in quarter number 2 as for yet another time, Coachy and friends take it over as this one's a handoff to number 20. Off to the right side, gets taken care of just ahead of the line of scrimmage. Jaden Pitts on the tackle.
Yeah.
And the carry by number 20, Brian Tennant. Another handoff. It was not Tennant this time. It might have been Dawkins. Should be a first down for the Eagles, and it will be.
First down, Eagles.
Don't forget, we don't have a football game scheduled for tomorrow. We'll be taking a much-needed off day, but on Sunday at 9 a.m., wake up bright and early for our first ever ball hockey live stream between the Cedar Creek Pirates and the Audubon Green Wave. It's set for 9 a.m. from the Belmar Oaks facility down there off of Bell Road. Handoff to Dawkins.
Like, well, we're at the 21, no, it don't. 9-11-9, heating room. Brings it a second down.
Well, second down. Did not advance too far from where they started. Yeah, they did. Second and 11 after a 1-yard loss. Tennant on the carry. Oh, man. Actually, I'm sorry. Dawkins was on the carry again. Some guys got tossed around like rag dolls in the secondary. Third and short for the Eagles. Coachy was going to drop back and then quickly snapped out of it. He's got room. He's got room to run and room to fly. Xavier Coachy finds the end zone. And Egg Harbor will extend their lead.
Touchdown, Eagles.
And Egg Harbor will put the yoke on them as it's going to be 27, maybe 28-6 if they can tack on a PAT here. Like we said, they are 0 for 3 on point after attempts. But, and a big but on that, they've got a field goal from Donahue that changed things up, but Donahue is not on the field. That's good. Hold on here. We got to check that. That's 86, Damian Richardson. So not only do you have one kicker, you've got two, and the opponent has none. And that is their first PAT made successfully. So far tonight, we've got 3:54 to play in the second quarter. We'll be right back, 28-6. Egg Harbor breaks from the huddle. And Donahue will kick this one away. So I don't think I've ever seen a high school football team in Jersey that has two kickers rostered. And hold on here, before the ball reached the apex of the air, we've got a flag, or at least maybe not a flag, but a whistle. Did they start too soon, or I don't know if they jumped it a little bit. They didn't wait until everybody was ready. I'm not sure.
This is offside against the Eagles.
So this will be an offensive offsides on the kickoff. And now they're taking Donahue off the field and putting their freshman kicker, number 86. And like we said, that is Damian Richardson, 5'6", 125. And he has made 12 of 13 extra point attempts this year. and that was all across the first 2 games of the season. This one's up on the second attempt. Goes back to the 20. Deptford gets a couple of blockers, gets good field position, and they are still on their feet. They are over to the 40. There are no whistles. They are inside the red zone. That is the best kickoff return that we have seen, even though it didn't go for a touchdown. Somewhat forgetting about last night's kickoff return TD, but that was almost just as good. And Deptford has a chance to find their end zone again before the end of the half.
Down to the 11-yard line. Touchdown, Spartans!
Here from Joe Corby and Jim Hawkins Stadium. It's a nice night here in Deptford, 71 degrees and cloudy. We had some light rain that is mostly cleared out. The remnants of that hurricane that are ravaging Georgia and Florida and the Carolinas will probably be getting us soon in the next couple of days. But the rush, let's not get too far there. A little contact after the tackle there.
We're seeing Larry Wilson. Makes it second down.
Second and 12 after the loss. He pitches it back to the left. A risky play, but it's for a gain, and they get a couple of yards out of it.
4-yard gain on the play ball there, with one out of the job.
And by the way, even though this is not a South Jersey score, we do have our weird score of the night so far. Howell leads Jackson Memorial 2-0 at the end of the first quarter.
What's from the men, seniors, and cheerleader seniors in that escort? Please start making your way to flyer entrance on the other side.
Of course, at the second half, we'll have a lot more out-of-town score updates. Not a whole host of games starting at 6. This one is passed to the side, caught by Pagan, and a whole host of everybody on top of that one at the 6 or at the 5. The first down marker is as backed up as you can get. It's at the 2. So this isn't a 4th and goal, but it might as well be.
Makes it 4th down.
Because you've only got about a yard or two before you reach the black and gold end zone. And Deptford will get the ball to start the second half, but it will be a cherry on top to score in the wee minutes of the second quarter. Deptford burns another timeout, and each team now has 1 remaining. We'll be right back with 1:27 to play in the second quarter, and Landis and the Spartans trail 28-6. Deptford breaking from their timeout. So obviously the game of the week this week is Winslow-Millville, but in addition to Winslow-Millville selling out, the live stream on Millville's end from QBC TV, Quinn Broadcasting, right now has over 1,300 people concurrently watching the live stream of Winslow and Millville. It's incredible. So we're glad you're here with us. Bynum with the Guardian Cap. Drops off a pass to the left side. Looks like that's incomplete. Egg Harbor will break it up.
Alonzo Hernandez.
Hold on here.
Flag.
We do have a flag. I didn't realize that it was completed. There were a litany of people in front of us that I couldn't see through, but the referee's now conferring on this one. So the Whitecap just walked out to the 30 like he was going to announce the penalty, but now he's going back into the circle to discuss further. It's defensive pass interference. So they're going to do half the distance, and it will be fourth down.
Pass interference. Played in first half.
So Landis is now getting a brief explanation from the head official, and I can't put the words in his mouth, but I think he was asking why that wasn't a first down, but because it's half the distance. All right, so they will try it again. It will not be fourth down, and Egg Harbor will call their last timeout. So after all of that, we've got another timeout for Egg Harbor. They do lead 28-6, but Deptford is threatening. They just need a couple of other things to go right. And like I said, that would be really nice for Deptford if they can crack the end zone and, in addition to that, also receive the ball to start the second half. But an excellent game so far for Egg Harbor. You know, Xavier Kochi and Noah Dawkins have been spectacular on their respective fronts. And there's been a lot of excitement on both sides, you know, for this game. Deptford, like we said, hasn't had, you know, you don't need a rocket scientist to say that Deptford hasn't had the smoothest start of the season. You know, falling to Florence in the opening game, Pennsgrove, a Group 1 program. And I think what defines it for me somewhat is ACIT and Bridgeton. Bridgeton did not win in either of their prior seasons, and now we're off to a 4-0 start. And then ACIT is a first-year program. So Deptford has time to turn it around. But after going with one win last year, got to remember both of these teams each had one win in the prior 2023 campaign. So both teams are trying to turn it around, and this is their first showcase on our airwaves to do so. Fourth and short, half the distance to the goal after a DPI call. Pitches it out to the right. We'll see where this lands. He's going to go through the pylon. And it's a touchdown, Spartans. And that's exactly what they wanted there. Got into the end zone with 1:12, 72 seconds. I mean, after that penalty call, there was confusion on both sides. The referee basically had to go to bat and explain the situation to both Rob Davis and Pat Landis. And we'll see what their situation is here. The score is now a little bit more conventional. When it was 18-6, that made it look a little different, but we'll see here. They will go for two. Bynum dropping back. He is wrestled to the ground. And a 2-point try is no good. And we are 1 for 6 on PAT attempts between both Deptford and EHT tonight. It is 28-12 with a minute and chunk of change to play in the second. We'll be right back. Deptford trails 28-12 with a minute 12 left in the second quarter as Bynum sends this away on the kickoff to the right side, taking it inside the 20. Egg Harbor's got some room, and that gets stopped in the nick of time before, if they got a couple more blocks, that would have been going all the way. And Lacrosse crosses over on the carry, and it's at the 45. Egg Harbor for the remainder of the season has definitely a precarious schedule. They also have Triton and ACIT to close out the season, but they have Lower Cape May next week, which is a little bit closer to home than Deptford. And then they're home to the Mainland Mustangs at 6 p.m. on the 10th. I think that October 10th is the crossover week. I think the 10th and 11th that week, and then the week prior are NJSIAA and WJFL crossover weeks where you don't have to play divisional opponents, or you can take a bye. That one is well over the middle. He gets taken down there after the completion. Didn't get too much yardage there after the completion, but it was taken in by Chase Ford. And they are going to respot this from inside the 30 at the 27. First down for the Eagles. Coachy dropping back. Lines a pass. Picked. Looked like, at least. Yes, it is picked by the Spartans. And for the second time tonight, playing the master of the interception game is Azir Pagan. And we have our 6th turnover of the first half. And the Spartans, as we heard, very emphatically picked up the first down. So Egg Harbor has 1 timeout remaining. Deptford has none. And there are 38.3 seconds left on the clock. Don't forget to stay tuned for the Harper Driving School halftime show, along with 24 more minutes and maybe more if this game ends up turning the tide a little bit of WJFL Memorial Division football here from Deptford. 1st and 10 after the pick. Bynum hands off. That does not get too far. With Deptford having no timeouts, you'd think they're probably going to keep it. Looks like they're going to keep it on a conservative playbook here because they do get the ball to start the second half. So there's really no need to rush things here. It's 15 seconds, and they're going to walk off towards the sideline. I did not mean to say that. And at the end of the first half, Deptford is not going to run a play, and they get into the end zone before that's all said and done. So they cut the lead, but not enough for Egg Harbor to not be comfortably out front, because they certainly are comfortably out front. Egg Harbor with an impressive first half performance and 4 touchdowns so far, either on the handoff or from the pass or even from the QB keeper by Xavier Coachy. The sophomore has been incredible tonight on both sides of the football, and the youngster has made himself known not just to Egg Harbor folks and not just to Deptford folks, but to everyone tuning in tonight. We'll be right back. Stay tuned in 15, 16 minutes, if you will, for the Harper Driving School halftime show here on DWB. We'll be right back.
Westboro, are you ready for some more action?
The dangerous adrenaline wrestling gladiators will rock South Jersey on Saturday, September 28th in Riverton. Dog wrestling makes their debut at the Sacred Heart Church with a powerful lineup, including reigning champion Breaker Moran, former WWE Tag Team Superstar Tank Toland, and a special appearance by ECW original Jim Molyneux. Nearly 20 high-flying competitors are slated for this event, sure to be an all-time classic in South Jersey, with an amazing night of professional wrestling action planned for you. Dog wrestling at the Sacred Heart Church, 104 4th Street, Riverton, on Saturday, September 28th at 7:30. Tickets are only $20. For more information, visit dogprowrestling.com. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
Garden State Pet Center is an independently owned full-service pet store. Our specialty is promoting companionship between people and animals by providing the healthiest product choices available, including all-natural foods, supplements that support and relieve health issues, and innovative products for pet parents. Our goal is to provide our customers with a relaxing environment, and while we're not striving to be the biggest store on the East Coast, we're striving to be the best. No other pet store will make you feel at home like we do. At Garden State Pet Center, we view pets as members of the family. We don't believe in fast, high-pressure sales, but instead matching up the right pet with the right owners, as you are making a lifelong commitment. Together with our team members, we would like your visit to our store to be both enjoyable and educational. Simply drop in and take a look around. View the birds, reptiles, small animals, toys, food, cages, and miscellaneous items. Learn of the services we have to offer and decide for yourself if this is the store you'd like to call your home away from home.
Victor Santucci, owner of Garden State Pet Center. Visit us today at 226 South Whitehorse Pike in Audubon, New Jersey. We're open 7 days a week for all of your pets' needs.
And this is going to bring up Andrew Petrick, who has a single in this game. And here's a fly ball popped up right field side. And it's fair. It's fair. They're going to throw to second for try to get this play. The force out. They got him, but the game is tied. How about it for Woodstown? They complete the comeback to make it 8-8. So now there is one out after Kubat let it fall in right, and because the bases were loaded, you know what? That's a very smart play. They were able to get out unscathed in the third, but now the fourth isn't looking so kind. There's a high drive, deep center, way back, and it is out of here! John Pelosi! 3-run home run! He's left the building to dead center! And John Perosi's blown this game wide open! Have yourself a celebration, Johnny! Will lead it off for the Senators. Chase Rollins, the player manager for CHP, gets it started with a ball upstairs, and we are underway in game one. 1-0. That one is hit well out towards left, and it is gone off the top of the goalpost. Shane Adamski with a thunderous start to his playoff series. Second pitch of the game, a solo homer to left, and before I could even write the first name down in my scorecard, it's 1-0.
We are back from our halftime break as an excellent performance of the Twilight Show wrapping up behind us there. As I mean, this has been an unusual game on all fronts, and to say the least, it has been nothing short of exciting. And it's 28-12 in favor of Egg Harbor, but I feel like this game has been a lot more one-sided than the scoreboard makes it look. I mean, it's a two-score game, but I think that people forget that it's it was all Egg Harbor for the first quarter. It was 18-0. I think that was the first time in a long time that we saw 18 plus points in the first quarter. But things are changing for Deptford. They struck the end zone twice in the second quarter, and they will get the ball back to start the second half. So I'm excited for what Deptford can do. I think that they just went off to the worst possible start. Their first two snaps on offense were fumbled, and then the attempt that they were going to get the third try, squib kick gets recovered by EHT. So it was a bad stroke of luck and a bad string of events, but now things are starting to mellow out, and things have been mellowing out in the second quarter. They held Egg Harbor to 10 points in the second quarter, and they added 12 of their own. So if you do the math, they're closing the gap, but got a lot of work to do in the third and fourth quarters if they want to win this one. But I mean, there's not a whole lot to say other than this game has been weird. Xavier Coach has done an amazing job playing both sides of the ball for Egg Harbor Township as a sophomore. And there's been a lot of questions about, um, and some of Deptford's guys is that they don't have a set quarterback, kind of like Clayton never didn't have one last year, and they only used it in times of desperation when they absolutely needed it. So, I think Deptford is running a bit of an unusual offense, but if it works, right? If the philosophy is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't think that that's anything bad at all. But EHT, they have put their foot in the door. They came in with a loud entrance, and they were able to, make their presence known very early. And that was what was most exciting about the start of the game was that Egg Harbor was just on the roll, touchdown, 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 and then it stopped. And Egg Harbor slowed down, Deptford sped up, and things reset a little bit. Now, 28-12 still is not exactly a favorable score, but it's doable. They only need 16 points to get back into this game and to tie the game, assuming that Egg Harbor doesn't get any back. And some light rain is also coming down behind us as the band is finishing their performance. So should be a fun next 24 minutes. I'm here with David Cohen of Seneca, and it's going to be fun. 28-12. I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll be right back. We're going to turn this around, and these guys are going to get back on the field for kickoff and more right after this. Some light rain coming down here in Deptford as it is 28 to 12. Little rain never hurt nobody. It definitely affected some of the turnout. There's a little bit of shading over near the snack stand. And that makes Deptford the fourth stadium I know of that sells Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Kingsway, one of them. Gloucester, can't remember the other one, but it's been a fun night here. And rain not hampering things at all, but might mix some things up a little bit. And like we said, Deptford will receive to start the second half. They introduced all of their band, football, and cheerleading seniors here in Deptford. And Xavier Coachy has been the man to watch for Egg Harbor. The sophomore has been very mobile. He's almost acted like a running back a little bit with his direct snaps. And Deptford has basically run it out of the Wildcat basically all night. And they have been very unorthodox, to say the least. We usually don't see high school clubs utilizing that offense so heavily. At least we haven't seen so in the past 2 years. But Egg Harbor getting ready. The HT will send this off to the left side. Another squib kick. Well, no fair catch here. Taking it to 35. Knocked down a little, but he stays on his feet. He is still past the line where he picked it up, and he gets 5 yards on a long but not too eventful return. Caden Rowan on the stop for Egg Harbor.
Right?
So Deptford takes over for their first offensive possession of the second half from their own 40. Sends a man in motion. Direct snap. Gets past the line of scrimmage, but not too much mustard on that one, and that's going to be second down. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at KP1 Designs. Get your free evaluation on a commission today by following them on Twitter and sending a direct message at KP1 Design. Second and 8. There's a little bit of mist actually coming into our booth here. The mist actually feels a little bit nice as long as it doesn't mess up the camera. We've got flags. EHT is clapping on this one, and they're going to start walking back. It'll be a false start. That will bring them back to over 10 yards. The second and 12. We closer to second and 13, I apologize, after the false start. Again, running that same play, sending the man in motion to the left. High snap, pitches it back to the right side. And this is way behind the line of scrimmage. And the Eagles with a huge stop. Oh, man, that was a big blow, which is going to bring them back to second and a country mile. We'll see where it's back within the 27. It is second and 23. So not as long as I actually thought, but still very, very long. And this is going to be difficult to convert on. Although Camden converted on a third and I think it was third and 25 a couple of weeks ago in their 30-0 win over Kingsway. Third and long. Maybe even third and very long. Rolls out to the right. Are they going to run a rushing play on 3rd and 23? Wow, that's going to be sent out of bounds on the far sideline, and an unlucky drive gets even worse for Deptford as that sack on 2nd down sets up 3rd and 23, and this is going to be 4th and 29 on a loss of 6.
Brings up 4th and Deptford ball.
Fourth and 29, Deptford will punt. I mean, you got to see if this punt even reaches the line of scrimmage, or I'm sorry, the first down marker. It will not, but the ball is muffed at the Deptford, at midfield, at the Spartan logo in the middle. And Egg Harbor takes over. Again, some more rain kind of shuffling in here under the lights, but when you're on a turf field, and even if you're on a grass field, it doesn't matter for football as long as there's no lightning, of course, which, looking on the radar, we don't see any lightning expected. Just seems to be rainy conditions. 1st and 10 for Coachy. First chance to see him after the break. And another successful rush up the middle. I think that was Dawkins again. And it was Dawkins again. It'll be 2nd and short. They did not cross the marker that time.
Makes it 2nd down.
Second and short. Very manageable here for Egg Harbor. Early in their first drive of the second act. As that one goes through, Dawkins stays on his feet. He is still active. He breaks another tackle, and finally, Deptford liberates him out of bounds. And by the way, I got a text at halftime from a family member of mine asking why there are ambulance lights on the right side. That is the ice cream truck, or actually, I'm sorry, one of those Kona Ice, one of the Wooder Ice trucks that is here for the home games. Well, Coachy completes it over the middle, big hit and a flag. That was a big hit. And now another flag comes in late. We had 2 flags come in about 20 seconds apart from each other. They're going to sort this out because there is maybe some extracurriculars here after the play that might hamper things a little bit here. The flag came in, it seemed like, as soon as that big hit was made on EHT's number 2. Just relaying some quick information. What we think is the first penalty is an ineligible receiver downfield. And that's what they're going to call it here. And then the second foul is a dead ball foul. So there you go, ineligible on Egg Harbor. And the whistles are blowing while we've got another flag. Oh boy, so now things are getting complicated. And you can add that to the list. I don't think I've ever seen a flag thrown while the referee is discussing the flags and while he is relaying them to the sideline. Can't say I've ever seen that one before. So we have, I think, another one to add on to the list. Okay. So 3 fouls on 1 play. That is 2 unsportsmanlike conduct calls against Deptford. All right, so if you want to break out your calculators for this one, here's the word. It's 1 call against Egg Harbor and 2 so what we said was illegal man down or ineligible man downfield for EHT, and then the next 2 unsportsmanlike calls were against the Spartans. So they knocked Egg Harbor back 5 yards and then did half the distance twice. So math lesson is complete. They're going to replay 1st and goal after a couple of extracurriculars against the Spartans. Mm. First and goal from inside the 5. EHT at the 4, looking to score for the first time this half. Dawkins takes it himself. But that's a good thing for the officials to police the game properly and call it, by the letter of the law, because we've seen some games where, by no fault of the officials too much, they let games get a little too lenient on talkback, as I like to say, and then things get out of hand and things get chippy real quick. So they're laying down the hammer here. And speaking of laying down the hammer, Noah Dawkins at the goal line. It is a touchdown, Egg Harbor. They've done it again, and their 5th touchdown of the night will set up a 34-12 lead if they can, and 35 if they can make the extra point. So the freshman kicker will be back out again to send this one away. Both teams combined are 1 for 6 on PAT attempts. That one is up. It is up, away, and good.
Kick number 86, Damian Richardson goes through the uprights.
Richardson goes through his 2nd complete PAT of the evening. And under misty skies here from Deptford and a little bit of confusion and some extracurriculars after the whistle, it is 35-12 in favor of EHT. We'll be right back. All right. Kickoff by EHT, bounces a couple times, gets picked up at the 21. And a hit brings it down to 25.
Kick number 86, Damian Richardson.
Oh. And the referee is telling the EHT player to cool it and to go back to the other way and don't get too crazy here. That was number 5 from EHT, Tyler Durham, who took exception to seemed like a little ball toss from Caden Rowan. First and 10 for the Spartans. Wind picking up a little bit, and that is not going to get anywhere on the handoff from Bynum. Robinson on the carry. Maybe second down, and it looks like 11. I mean, this has been a mostly clean game up until a couple of minutes ago. Like I said, last thing you want is for things to get a little heated, especially between two division opponents that still have plenty of games to play. Like we said, EHT, or rather Deptford and EHT, both have 4 games remaining on the regular season. Glassboro, Cumberland, Cherry Hill East, and Triton. 3 of their next 4 games are on the road for Landis and the Spartans. This one is also well behind the line of scrimmage, but he finds some room. He crosses over and, stays on his feet down at the 30, and that might have been the longest play for 3 yards that I've seen in a long time. And some big hits on both sides, some cross hits. I mean, that play might have ran for about 10 seconds for a gain of a few, but it does bring their yardage down to 3rd and 6 from the 31 rather. For the remainder of the Eagles campaign, as they line up on defense here on 3rd and 6, we'll actually hold that thought until after this play. Dropping back, scans the field, makes the catch. This one is again behind the line of scrimmage, gets dropped. And that'll be 4th and long for the Spartans. Like we said, EHT, they have 2 home games and 2 away games. Away at LCMR, Lower Cape May, home to Mainland, the juggernaut Mainland Mustangs, 3-1 this year, and then Triton on the 18th and home to ACIT on the 25th. So Deptford will punt this one away. It's a good spiral on it. This one's going to go to the 45. No fair catch. And he gets a knee down at the 50, which is where EHT will take over in this drive. Number 83, Jade McClellan, or Jaid. Not 100% sure on that one, although one thing that we did correct was the sophomore kicker, Justin Donohue. There's no A in there, and we were corrected in the comments, so appreciative of the Donohue oh my goodness, I tripped over myself 2 seconds after I corrected it. The Donohue folks who are tuning in tonight, and anyone else who's even if you're not traveling from Egg Harbor, we are grateful to have you guys on board. We don't visit the Jersey Shore often. Might have to make a stop in Egg Harbor, considering you guys are doing a fantastic job here through 3 quarters. That one is a bit of a truck job on the catch by the tight end, Maximus coaching. So a coach-to-coach combo.
Brings up second down.
I'll bring up second and very short, about 1 yard to go. 4:54 remaining in quarter number 3. And Egg Harbor leads handily 35-12. Dropping back, Kochi again. Makes the pass. It is tipped, or I should say, just goes right in and out of the hands of Sanchez. And he just threw something at his own sideline.
It's the 3rd down.
Whatever that was that got on the field, he threw it at his own sideline. I don't know what that was, but whatever it was, he spiked it into the ground. Not happy with that incompletion. 3rd and short again. Gets a big hit. This should be a stop, but they should probably keep the offense on the field here on 4th and short. And we've got more flags.
Dark flag got on play. Okay, sports ball on that.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Egg Harbor, so it is not 4th and short. So that was after the, well after the snap was whistled dead. So the unsportsmanlike conduct calls again now biting Egg Harbor instead of biting Deptford. I don't know what happened there. Something just messed up with our scoreboard. We're going to try to fix that. No, not your scoreboard, our digital scoreboard. Sorry, something with our laptop. My bad. We saw about 4 heads turn in about a half second, thinking, what in the world just happened? Nope, nothing wrong there. 4th and long, and this will be a punt by EHT. It'll roll back to the 25. Oh, big hit. And it goes back to the 25 as Rowan gets hit decently hard, and Deptford will take this one over. So, yeah, I don't know, our clock just, the stop button got removed. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Let's see if this works. Yeah, we're just fixing issues with our clock. The clock on the bottom of your screen is not official, we should mention. That was funny though. I'm thinking, yeah, we'll have to fix that with our scoreboard in just a moment, but 1st and 10. There's about 4 minutes and 15 there is 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third. And they'll keep the clock running. So yeah, now we have to, does that stop button work? No, okay, so the stop button doesn't do anything. We gotta fix this again. Please excuse us, folks. Okay. All right, now we found a solution. It's about time. But the panic I artificially created in this booth was about as hilarious as you can get. 3:37 and counting now. Over the middle, excuse me. Falling off the tracks here, and it's going to be whistle is going to stop, and it will be, instead of being a short play, it'll be 1st down Spartans. All right, we are fixed. Yeah, I don't know what happened, David, but that was very strange. David Cohen, our producer tonight, Seneca grad and Rowan student, as that one is back behind the line of scrimmage again. And down is Caden Rowan. He is hobbling over to the sideline, bearing weight, but not 100%, and he just went down. He tried walking it off for a couple of steps, and now clock's going to stop. For an injury timeout for Caden Rowan, who was out there and took a hit. He was down. He was trying to kind of scoot his way over, and then he got up. He limped for like maybe 5-6 steps, and then went down. And he's being attended to by the Deptford athletic training staff. It's 35-12 Egg Harbor. Again, big thanks to our producer David Cohen for fixing that. Forward thinking there.
Are you going to let me think he gets kicked those 4 Now, if you're going to sport lines, we do never quite right? It's just like the That yes, you can have one of the right on. We has to sit big. He's still recording. He's so. So next time, you know, I have a business system. Now, because there's still switchovers. It's like fun. Yeah.
Two and second and 13 here after the injury timeout. Bynum drops back. It is picked in the air. He trips over his own man. And now he's tripped at his feet and he is taken down. There are players down all over the place for Egg Harbor and almost for Deptford, but the pick is made by Jaden Reyes. And another turnover makes this EHT crew loud and proud. And Deptford lets up another pick. We'll see where it looks like it's going to be spotted at the 40 from the right hash. I mean, he went above and beyond to make that play, even with the only coverage being his own teammate. First and 10. And Tennant gets foreclosed a little on that play, and it's going to be a gain of 1 or 2.
It's a second down.
Second and 8, or rather second and 9, after the brief gain by Tennant. And we've got, whoa, hold on here. Whistles are flying, and we almost had a scramble there, but let's see. All right, that'll be Deptford offsides.
Next time doing Spartans.
Move them up 5 yards. So after the brief gain on first down by Tennant, that brings up second and 4. They'll let the clock run again. Coachy again. Oh, he sheds a tackler, and the pass under pressure is incomplete. Intended for Sanchez.
Sanchez. Brings up third down.
And third and 4. Keeper by Coachy. And he gets out of bounds under his own power, and I should say on his own 2 feet. And it will be a first down. Minute 23 left to play in the third quarter. So EHT up 35-12, and they just got a couple of minutes ago a huge interception by number 11, Jaden Reyes, the junior. This one was almost trouble. Sheds off 2 defenders. Completed again to Sanchez, who has been a star receiver for this EHT crew tonight. And now under a minute and counting. Dropping back, Coachy again. Under pressure, pass is completed. Tennant was wide open, and he completed the sail. He makes the catch to the left, and it goes within the 10. That'll be enough to drop the sticks, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Eagles. He was forced out of bounds, and that does stop the clock with 30 seconds left. They'll have time to draw up another play to maybe catch the end zone at the end of the 3rd. I mean, this has been an exciting game for 35-12. I'll tell you that. I've seen some 35-12 games and maybe some games that are even worse in terms of margin of victory that have been very, very boring to watch. But this is not one of them. Here's a pass incomplete. Intended for Tennant. They will put 7.3 seconds on the clock for what should be the final play of the 3rd. But Deptford has been backed up in their own red zone many a times tonight. Honestly, I think, not by much fault of it's all right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought they were doing something different. But 2nd and goal, 7 seconds left. Handoff to Tennant again. He's been a star of this drive. Dives forward. Touchdown EHT. They do punch it through at the end of the quarter. And clock will hit 0 as EHT is fired up again, knocking home another touchdown and putting this game in a lot more of an unreachable territory than it was at the start of this 3rd frame. It is now 41-12. The freshman kicker, Richardson, will be back out there for another PAT kick attempt. This one is blocked, and that is a dead ball. So Egg Harbor fails on the PAT. Richardson has made 2 so far this evening, but Egg Harbor's still up handily. It's 41-12 going to the 4th quarter here from EHT, from Deptford. The freshman class of 28 kicker, Richardson, still out there after the PAT was blocked. No timeouts have been burned, but a short kick, not much of a squib, but it goes to the 30. Deptford gets some blockers, and he goes up to the 49 on the other side of the field. Now we'll bring him over to the 49. Actually, I'm sorry, it is directly on midfield, right on top of that Spartan there. This broadcast is brought to you by our good friends over at the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or Dog Wrestling. DAWG Dog Wrestling will rock South Jersey tomorrow on Saturday, September 28th at the Sacred Heart Church in Riverton. Bell time is 7:30 and the admission is $20. Over 20 wrestlers are slated for a fun night of South Jersey action in Riverton, including reigning champion Breaker Morant, former WWE Tag Team Specialist Tank Toland, and former ECW original Jim Molyneux. For more information, visit Dog Pro Wrestling, DAWGProWrestling.com. Falling forward is Revinson on that play. I was going to say, if we were just about to load up the old program for making sure that our viewers at home are informed on all South Jersey happenings, because right now it's 8:15, so all those 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock games have started. We'll start from the top. PVI leads Willingboro 7-0 at the half. Glassboro leads Woodbury 34-0. There's about a minute left in the fourth, so that game is all but over, basically. Clippers of Clayton lead 13-7 over Gateway in the third quarter, and a sack to Deptford and Bynum, and it'll be third down. Bishop Eustace leads Buna 9-6 at the half, and it is a blowout in Millville. Eagles of Winslow lead Millville with 9:39 left in the fourth, 28-7. I mean, why is it that the best games that we cover aren't the ones at the top of the divisions? You know, like the American division has your St. Augustine, we got an unsportsmanlike on Egg Harbor. That's another one. That is yet another unsportsmanlike on the Eagles. But like I said, the best games that come out of South Jersey, the best games that come out of South Jersey are not the ones in the top division. If you want the best teams, sure, go to the American division. Do what you want there. But the best games from start to finish, that's what you want. You want something maybe not like this, but some of the games we covered last week, like ACIT and Triton, close games. Pass over the middle is caught. Second down. Scoring is somewhat stalled out in Burlington Township. Delran. It is 14-10 Falcons in the third quarter. Woodstown leads 17-6 over Pennsgrove. Holy Spirit leads 14-0 over Cedar Creek at the half. Delsea leads Timber Creek 12-7 in the third. And late in the fourth, Palmyra leads Wildwood 12-0. That game was scoreless at the half. Bynum again lets this one fly over the middle, finds a man. Oh, the ball got rattled out, and we've got a man down for Deptford.
Ball's incomplete.
They'll blow the whistles and they'll instruct everyone to get away. And hopping up and maybe got the wind knocked out of him, but he will walk off under his own power. Oh, we had a flag on that play, and it was a hold on Deptford. So they will go back 10 yards. So, as an insult to injury, a high-scoring gauntlet from Pennsauken. The Pennsauken Indians just beat Eastern 49-29.
Hey man, what's up? You're in my media class, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw you. I'm at the way, right?
No.
I mean, but what's up?
It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you.
Never call your name, by the way. What's
Dan.
Dan?
Dan, nice to meet you.
All right. Nice seeing you, man.
Bynum drops back, and it is picked. AHT gets the ball back again with yet another pick off of the Spartans to the right side. This place is getting loud, and they return it all the way back to the 38. Gibson on the pick. And actually, Delsey just extended their lead 24-7 over Timber Creek. Delsey leads Timber Creek 24-7.
Spartan fans, let's start looking at the fourth quarter sponsors. Look, Spartan fans, take care of our sponsors. Chosen Beauty, American Splash, Skasel's Lawn Care, Yogi's Quick Shop, American Auto Glass, again? Wow, twice the same list. And Chosen Beauty again.
AHT takes over. They've got 9:20 left in the fourth, and in a 41-12 game, remember, a 33-point lead would make it the running clock, which the new rule this year is that that clock will not stop under under the circumstances of touchdowns, injuries, or flags. But in the event of EHT scoring again, they lead timeouts as well. Yeah, that would make a timeout a moot point, right? But they're up by 29. There you go. Yes. Kind of like PEMDAS in math. Yeah. We're having fun up here in Deptford from our fellow officials and commentators sharing the same booth with us. Again, win or lose, big thanks to Coach Landis for having us out in the hospitality. This is a great complex to be at. Baseball fields right across the street, even though it is under darkness here, and a passionate fan base here in Deptford. We have only covered Deptford twice, and that was, or actually 3 times, sorry, once in baseball and twice in boys soccer. This is our first time covering a Deptford game at Deptford High. So great complex here. Again, big thanks to Coach Landis for having us out. And hopefully we can come back again soon, whether it's for football or maybe when we get to hoop season. I don't know, but we'll have to see. And off to the right side. Don't have to get too far. So right now, EHT is up by 29. So they would need a touchdown here, or theoretically 2 safeties to reach the 33-point mark, but more viable would be a touchdown. Score is now 21-10 in favor of Burlington Township over Delran. EHT punts. And 4th down. Goes out to the right side inside the 20. This will be taken over.
Well, the 22-yard line. First down, Spartans.
And by the way, in that Pennsauken Eastern game where Pennsauken won 49-29, RJ Blunt rushed for nearly 400 yards and picked up 6 touchdowns. Not joking you. They said it was right around between 350 and 400. They don't have an official number. So we'll have to see where they put the stats in tonight, because that might be something special for Pennsauken and for South Jersey. 7:50 left in the fourth quarter as Deptford receives the punt. I mean, hey, give props to these Deptford cheerleaders and the Deptford band. They have been passionate despite the score. They have been playing all night. And of course, not right in our ears like Clayton is or something like that, but it's always fun to see. And it's fun to see these guys still passionate despite the score and still getting these fans excited and hyped up. 2nd and long after that loss.
Sponsor of the game. Stop them there for this one. Our sponsor of the game.
That's the most excitement I've heard for a funeral home in years. Don't take that out of context. It's second and long. Pitched back to the right side. He gets dropped at the 25.
You are getting on the play. Walk out of number 3, Jacob Piss. 23, John Ladders. Brings up third down. And then beautiful left off in the 30 place. 6 touchdowns. They won the 2-yard wins.
At the half, Bridgeton leads Triton 12-0. Is another score that just came in. But we'll put those to bed for a second. If it's 3rd and 10, got a couple of yards in that last play. This suffers the same fate. Pitts on the carry for the Spartans. Fourth and 12. Deptford will punt. Again, it looks like it's Bynum. Low-hanging punt. This will land at the 45. Will roll back to the 40. They're going to keep this one rolling. And yeah, so that will again be EHT ball inside their territory. .5:14 left in the fourth. First and 10 for Egg Harbor Township. Probably just need a couple of rushing plays and a couple of first downs to take care of this. As I was just about to mention, Xavier Coachy is out of the game, or at least has been put on the sideline. So Egg Harbor Township putting in their reserves, which props to them for not running up the score and being a good sport, even though they have had I don't know how you want to word that, because they have had several unsportsmanlike conduct calls tonight. I mean, this is the most amount of unsportsmanlike conduct calls I've seen in a game that didn't end in disaster, basically. They're going to say that running back was down for a loss. That'll be 3rd and long. But, for Deptford, who has had an offense that has had a down year, they just need another score, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, to score the most points that they have in any game this year. Deptford has not scored more than 14 points in a game this year. 14 versus ACIT in Florence, 12 versus Bridgeton, and 0 versus Pennsgrove back on September the 6th. This will be 3rd and 16. Getting some blockers there, and now quarterback now for these guys is Andrew Oliak, 5'11", 175, the sophomore. Carry was by number 83, Jade McLennan, who we've seen a little bit of tonight. But an excellent complex as always here in Deptford. Like I said, this is our first time doing a game at Deptford High for any sport. We've covered them a couple of times before in soccer and baseball, but never at the Deptford facilities. So hopefully we can come back in the winter and in the spring, because this is a nice facility to be a part of. This one is up. Straight down the middle. Gets picked up at the 30. Sheds off a tackler. And gets taken down at the 41. And I saw that one coming. There's another unsportsmanlike. I I could see that one coming from as a clear as light of day. He kind of he kind of I don't know what the right verbiage is, but he basically pushed him while he was down, shoved him while he was down. So speaking of unsportsmanlike penalties, we add on another one. This time against number 18, Jake Lund. And Deptford will have some better field position for this drive with 2:53. 41-12. 2:53 left in regulation. Here comes the handoff to the right. Shoves his way through, and it's out of bounds. Don't forget our next broadcast will be Sunday, September 29th at 9 a.m. for ball hockey, our 10th sport that we have ever live streamed. Oh, we did have a flag on the play, and it is against Deptford. Didn't see that at first. So that'll knock the Spartans back, but as we said, ball hockey and hockey in general will be our 10th sport that we have ever covered on DWB. Baseball, football, basketball, soccer, field hockey, along with softball, golf, tennis, auto racing, and hockey will be added to the list early in the morning on Sunday. It is 1st and 20 after this call against the Spartans. Handoff gets whistled out at the line of scrimmage.
23, John Lazo.
But yeah, big props to Deptford. I mean, they've kept the energy up. And even with, I mean, there are so many times I've seen where a player will do something that is unsportsmanlike and gets called for that, and then they want to get vengeance back and not letting the game just do its thing. Because you already were the benefit of that penalty. You already took advantage of that and you got the call. Don't make it worse on yourself. And there's some players or there's some teams that struggle with that kind of calmness and composure in times of intensity and in times of rough patches in this game. But what do they say every time? Every public address announcer is required to say that these two teams are friendly competitors that happen to be from different high schools, and we have to say that is a true statement, and we end up forgetting that sometimes when we have altercations or fights in high school games where these guys are just competitors. Some of these guys that are stepping on this football field this senior year won't step on another one after this year. They won't play college football. They won't go into a different football related career, and that's something that I think a lot of people forget in the long run. That's going to be stopped on 3rd down and 16. There's under a minute left. And on 4th down, we'll see what Deptford does here for what could be the final play of the game. And if
They got fear, let them hear. Let's hear for Spartans.
like we said, these guys kept the passion all night. This crowd, whenever they made a stop, made it sound like this game was tied, not 41-12. Deptford really never lost the energy. They have a passionate fan base, and even though the result wasn't what they wanted tonight, it certainly was something that Deptford can look back on in their Week 5 matchup versus Glassboro. And we'll see if they get a 1st down here. 9 seconds left. They will run the clock. And that will be all she wrote. Egg Harbor Township will take this one home by a score of 41-12. EHT takes it home in dominant fashion for their first win in 2 weeks after falling to Bridgeton and Cherry Hill East. This was a kind of a rocky game to start, and Deptford, like we said, I'm going to remember for a while those first 2 offensive snaps being fumbled. And Deptford was able to, um, I don't know what the right wording is, but I should say, they were able to rebound from that at least somewhat and put some points on the board and be able to make this game a clean one and something that Egg Harbor can go away and make this a memorable night for the Eagles. They improved to 3-2. Deptford falls to 0-5 after a 1-win campaign in 2023. They play Glassboro next week on October the 5th. Considering Glassboro just put the running clock down on Woodbury 34-0, Deptford will have a tall order on Friday versus Glassboro. And then for EHT, they are on the road all the way down at the Lower Peninsula at Lower Cape May, 7 o'clock on Friday, October 5th. Our next broadcast will be on Sunday, September 29th at 9 a.m. between the Cedar Creek Pirates and the Audubon Green Wave over at the Belmar Rec Fields in Belmar. That'll be fun. Ball hockey, our first ever hockey live stream on DWB, and then nationally ranked women's soccer on Monday, Monday, October 1st between Ocean County and RCSJ and JUCO nationally ranked women's soccer. And then after that, Thursday, October 3rd, back in action with boys soccer, Pittman and Audubon, 4:45 start for that. And back in action on Friday, October 4th. We unfortunately had a change of plans in our football schedule for the 4th, but we will have a football game. We're just not sure where yet. We're still trying to figure that out. We're still working out that specific location. And then on Saturday, October 5th, will be the DWB doubleheader, our first football doubleheader, which will celebrate the 3-year anniversary of the founding of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. On October 5th, 2021, we aired our first live stream between Gloucester and Audubon boys soccer. 3 years later, we celebrate that with a doubleheader at 12 o'clock on Saturday the 5th. We've got Camden Eastside and Penn Saucon at 12 noon. And then at 6 p.m. that night, Manchester Township and Rumson Fairhaven in Shore Conference play, our first non-WJFL football game in DWB history. So that is going to be a busy week ahead, and this is just the beginning. From our entire crew here at DWB, our social media coordinators, Brandon DeKegerland and Keely Curran, our graphics crew, Gavin Van Rel and Caleb Lane, our wonderful producer tonight making his production debut, David Cohen. I'm Dan Wilkins. We will see you on Sunday bright and early for that hockey game between Cedar Creek and Audubon at 9 a.m. from Belmar. Egg Harbor takes care of this one 41-12. We're signing off for the weekend and for the night. Have a good one, folks.